Konene. So inaka Sunday ilikuwa ni siku ya fake news cause I remember nikicheki post fulani ile nikishindwa like damn, this is where we've gotten, and the post didn't make sense cause it sounded funny and serious at the same time. So ni post gani na bonga juu yake? Kuna msana jitaka Ng'ethe alikuwa ameandika a man suspected to be a UDA Wamuthende goon pulled out a knife and attempted to attack Gachagua while he was addressing worshippers at ACK Karangare Church. Congregants quickly subdued him before he could pose any further threat to the opposition leaders. He was wearing UDA branded underwear. So that was the first thing. Like at first you hear this and you're like, damn, this is serious, but I don't expect this to happen. And then you hear something else and you're like, this looks like fake news. And especially your part here, he was wearing UDA branded underwear. Because I don't think if anyone was to decide that they are going to attack the former deputy president, I think Ngodha did the last thing wanataka kuonyesha. Because susemaga unisema mimi ni UDA damu. So kumbe Ngodha inafaa kwa mimi ni UDA mtako. Mimi ni UDA paked. Yani it makes sense. Like why are you wearing the UDA underwear? Makes no sense. So it sounded like fake news to me. And then of course I had to go checking, like if Gachagua is attacked, that has to be headlines on all major platforms. That has to be headlines on NTV, Standard, Citizen. There's no way that's just somewhere not being the main news. So of course nikaangalia kina Citizen, didn't find anything. Nikaangalia inaitwa NTV, nikaangalia Standard, nikaangalia The Star. I didn't see any news about that. Alafu now what was more interesting is baadaye na watch Gachagua, and Gachagua was like having a speech. Lakini before Gachagua there was this other story. Like the only place niliona hii story ya Kisu ilikuwa mse fulani alikuwa na ilikuwa kwa PDR, People's Daily Report. This is the only guy that I had confirming history ya knife. So wacha tumsikize.
Naona kura yetu iko juu. Kura iko juu. Na wameanza kutuma watu kuanza vurugu. Ati mtu anaweza tumwa akuje kanisani na kisu aham Rigathi Gachagua.
Acheki, mtu anaweza tumwa aham Rigathi Gachagua. Niko like, damn, now this is getting serious. But as I keep saying, I've checked all the credible sources. I don't think there's any way mainstream media would want to miss out on that. That would be like one hell of a scoop. But sasa ile kitu ilifanya nika confirm that I don't think this thing happened is I was watching now Gachagua's speech, and Gachagua alikuwa anabonga juu ya facing each other man to man, yeye na Ruto, and he did not bring up that. Like he talked about other stuff but he did not bring up the hanikalika mtu ametoka tu kuatakiwa na kisu. But maybe I'm wrong. Wacha tusikize vile Gachagua alibaki amebonga.
Niambie William Ruto, be a gentleman. Let us have a fair contest. Tumepata habari watu yako ya mkono, huyu Soprano, huyu Ruko Karinda, atu wanatafuta wakora huko Kikuyu, huko Kiandutu Infika, atu wakuja waangaishe hao Wambere.
The only thing nimekuwa surprised ni musu maga Kiadoto. Kama ni Kiandutu. Okay, damn. Kisapele ni confusing jo. Hizo ma use and up to zikiwa you tu hivyo tu. Without me being told. Like what's going on?
William Ruto, hao Wambere walikuchagua. Hapana tuma wahuni kuja kuangaisha Wambere. Wewe kama wewe ni mwanaume kamili, kubali tushidane fairly. Kwa debe, si ndio? Yeah, tuangane kwa debe. Arobe mona ne gaja shi kiata. Kati kwa bado Wabere. Don't use akina Ichungwa to send criminals and goons here.
Atiki hata you don't use akina Gishongwa to send criminals and goons here. It's very general. It's not like you're not expected to specific like, hey, I've just survived. This person tried kukuja with me at me and nionejua Rigathi Gachagua amemhatisha kamchapa sweep. Afu na chikitu Ngodha kamechapa logo ya UD alafu kameandikwa bottoms up ile time hii Raeme inuliwa na matako. Hey, bottoms up in real life. So there's nothing particular about there's nothing specific about what Gachagua is talking about. He's talking in a very general way in ways that he's been talking all along. So wacha tumalizie.
Wale ulinitumia Lemuru wameonekana huko, wale ulinitumia Mweki wameonekana huko, wale waliniattack nikitoka US wameonekana huko mbele. Be a gentleman. We know you are not a good person, lakini ile heshima kidogo umebakisha, usihangaishe wa mbele kwa sababu alikuchagua. Si ndio? Si mlimpigia kura? At least awachane na sisi. We compete fairly.
So mnacheki hiyo. It's a very general statement, so I don't think that Rigathi Gachagua was actually in hiyo. Nafikiri ilikuwa fake news, and the fake news ended up spreading, but not spreading as much as walikuwa wanataka. But still talking of Gachagua, kumekuwa na interview zake mob. Kuna interview moja ile siku react to, but nilicheki unanga kuna time kuna teta that the worst thing about Gachagua is he always says something he's not supposed to say. So kuna clip yake ilikuwa na go round, alikuwa anabonga kisapere, ila alikuwa na teta that Ruto saizi ameacha kutengeneza roads areas za Wasapere, ameanza kutengeneza roads areas za Wajaka. And I don't think people realize that Gachagua is supposed to be a national leader. So there are things he's supposed to think about but never utter. They're never supposed to come out of his mouth. So that was really messed up to hear him doing that, because that now becomes very easy for Ruto kwenda pale na kusema unaona ule mkabila. So hizi ni vitu I don't know ule mtu mtichiget. I think I don't know kama yewaga ready to take advice, but apart from that kuna place alini bamba kuzalikuwa nasema yes hizi ndio the official opposition leader. Wacha tumsikize.
Nikuulize leo, mimi kama singetolewa kwa ofisi, kama ningekuwa niko na kasongo, mzee Raila amepumzika ambaye alikuwa anasaidia kupinga, nani angekuwa akipinga ile maneno iko Kenya? Si tungekaliwa vibaya sana. We need strong opposition for good governance. We are asking the people of Very North watusaidie pia sisi kwa upinzani, watafute candidate ambaye atatusaidia kutetea watu ya Very North. In any case, huyu Karis is not a newcomer.
Okay, so hapo alikuwa anatetea Karis akisema that wana need watu wa opposition kuwasaidia kupigana na nini, kupigana na Ruto, kwa saizi hakuna any opposition especially after death ya Raila. So that was interesting, but still nikibonga juu ya Gachagua like because I'm just about to talk about Ruto, but one of the things nilicheki ati Gachagua alisema, and I found this to be super funny, was him saying that Uhuru did not warn him enough, because if Uhuru had given him enough stories about Ruto, then angeambia wase wavutie Ruto. Acha tusikize.
Yari gari ehubetero wa buri. He conned us, all of us, the church people, all of you. Tukamchagua tukifikiria ni mtu ya maana. Kufika pale nikakuta ni mtu ambaye hawezi aminika, amepora nchi, ameharibu nchi, na sana anachukia sisi watu ya jamii ya Mlima Kenya.
Damn, man, damn. I'm sorry, man, but do I think that Ruto hates the Kikuyu community? No, that statement is false. And do I understand why Gachagua said it? Yes. Do I think it helps? No, because we are divided enough. We do not need any more divisions, especially considering a place that's as volatile as Rift Valley. The last thing that you need to do is to kuninizo tribal emotions. Yes, because as I keep saying, politics are emotional and politics are in quotes tribal, so you don't want to do this. So that one I don't agree with. Like, there are things you're supposed to say. I understand you complaining about development going to other areas, but to be very specific and claim that Ruto hates Kikuyus, that makes it a very tricky situation, because sasa inafanya kuna mkale fulani atakuwa pahali akifikiria kwa like then wakikuwa anachukia wakale. You understand? That's, you start a whole bullshit narrative that we don't need.
Akaanza kuharibu kila kitu, lakini mimi sana tulikosana hii maneno ya kuua jenzi. Hiyo tulikosana naye kabisa.
Hapo nadanganya budajo, hamkukosana juu ya jenzi, mlikosana juu ya vitu zenyu. Majenzi wengine wameuliwa before majenzi, na mkuwa ikosana. Kuna kuwaga na clip go around ya Gachagua zesi kulikuwa naendaga ofisi at 5 am. That was during the shooting of the protesters, wale wasufuria kwa kichwa. And they also young people. Just because they were affiliated to a party does not mean that they were not young. So that's also very dishonest.
Kabisa, hapo ndio tuliwachania. Na saa ile mimi niliona ni mtu mbaya, lazima niambie wafuasi yangu, because nikikosa kuambia watani blame. Wewe ulijua hii mtu ni mbaya, mbona hukutuambia? If Uhuru Kenyatta had told us what he knew, unajua aliongea tu juju, hii mtu si mzuri, wachana naye, but he didn't give us details.
That's a lie also. Uhuru alijaribu kabisa kunini and niko sure kuna sort of get all up in their feelings hapo kuniambia na hata Gachagua. I'm not attacking Gachagua, I'm just going through his speech step by step. And Uhuru tried. I think even Uhuru did a speech on the night before the elections. I think he addressed the Gamer Nation, tried to pitch his Nini. There's the famous clip ya Uhuru ila akisema ati ukimpatia nini 100 anasema 50 ni yangu, 5 ni ya mwananchi, hii 5 ni ya rafiki yangu, hii 5 nini. Uhuru akapatiana ile example pia ati mnaendesha gari na msee, ukiangalia nyuma na spare tire iko, ukiangalia nyuma unaona viti haziko, wewe unashindwa hii trip tutafika kweli? Si mtu atatoa mpaka tire. So Uhuru ali won, but I understand this is political, so we have to, and like Gachagua has to convince his supporters that he didn't know, while deep down he knew. But also, what did he know? Like, what's so bad that all of a sudden he's discovered? There's nothing apart from his impeachment. Has something actually changed drastically? I don't think so, Nacheki. But
if he had given us details, we would not be where we are. Again, also the choice he had brought was also not good. Okay? So tulikuwa na tualina mutino.
So I think that's more honest. Kusema that Raila was not a good choice, that's more honest. But to say that Uhuru did not give you the details, Uhuru did not warn you, Uhuru I think warned. Mpaka there was the famous saying that hata kama ni mwizi wetu. Yes, this happened under Uhuru. So Uhuru did a warning. So you should just go and be honest and be like, shida ni Raila, this character called Raila, huyo ndio mtu mbaya.
But if President Uhuru Kenyatta had told us in details who Ruto is, we will not be in this hall. I have to do things differently. I must tell the people of Kenya, and especially watu ya mlima yetu, Ruto ni nani. Ndio ukitaka kwenda kumchagua usiseme Gachagua.
Ukitaka kwenda kumchagua usiseme Gachagua kusema. Okay, so hiyo ilikuwa ni Gachagua. Do I think he was being honest? Nah. I think half the speech was very dishonest, apart from your party ya shida ilikuwa Raila, like the choice. Yes, and of course we have to go back to Cambridge Analytica. The Cambridge Analytica campaign against Raila was so bad that even in death Raila bado yuko hated. You can still go through the comments and see people who hate him. So that one I understand, like the amount of hate that was there for Raila in the mountain, it was impossible to sell him. So that I understand. But now talking of Raila, before tuongee ya Ruto, we have to talk about Raila cause achike yule musamaga ama preacher wanakuwa conmen. So kuna preacher saa hizi ashaongea na Mungu mpaka anajua place Raila alienda jo. Acha nikupeleke kwa preacher jo. Oneni jo. Mimi naambia the only true prophet, Prophet Habakkuk. So, but in the meantime, let's listen to another one.
When Raila died, Raila went straight to hell. When Raila died, he was taken straight to hell. The reason why Raila was taken to hell is because 1996, through Job Omino, he was initiated to Freemason.
Freemason, okay. So you talk to God, and even God cannot make you pronounce Freemasons in the right way. You say Freemasons, that means you think it's Freemasons. But it's interesting. Yeah, so if you're a Raila supporter and you are that he went to hell, so it's this guy. So remember when I say that there are no prophets except Prophet Habakkuk, watu semaga there are miracles out there, there are people who talk to God. So cheki, say, so don't usihepe, kama umekuwa na mimi all along kijua these are conmen, then of course tunajua this is nonsense. But kauja kuwa kijua this is nonsense and you've been supporting it, saizi ona pale imefika. Acha tuendelee.
So he was taken to hell direct. But on the third day of this judgment, the angel who was sent in his grave was shocked Because when he came, he found the funeral still there, while the person's judgment had already arrived. So he took the message. And the angel went with the records of people's testimony. So Raila was removed from hell.
Inakuwa a very interesting phenomenon. So the angels work for God. God is perfect. God is all-knowing. But somehow God needed to hear testimony and see a state funeral for God kusema, yani tukipeleka yeye ahera na tumpeleke na hii bendera ya state funeral, si bendera itachomeka? Okay, God in this case is Luo. You know why? Your God has to be from your tribe. If someone else tells you that your God is from another tribe, or your God speaks a foreign language, that person is lying to you. Because either God is real and he existed for your ancestors, or he's fictional. You don't want to believe he's fictional, so he has to speak your language. In this case, the God of Raila has to be speaking the language of Raila and has to have the accent of Raila. Okay, so wacha tumalizie.
But he's not in heaven. He was just removed because there is a case, special case pending over Raila. What might take him back to hell? He never confessed Jesus Christ as his personal savior.
Masikia hiyo? Juu Raila haku confess. Kuzi Raila ilikuwa na Raila till the last minute. So inajua that Raila did not confess. See the nonsense that we encourage? This is what we encourage. This is the reason why I feel like churches need to be taxed. And yeah, a lot of stuff. Konene, nimeinterrupt show kukuremind juu ya Lemfi. Kama uko US ama Canada na unataka kutuma do Kenya, register kwa Lemfi ukitumia promo code EKONENE. Hii itakuguarantee $20 cashback on your first $100 transaction. Alafu pia time una register, make sure umetick the 2 check boxes za notifications ndio ukireceive info about amazing offers through newsletters. Na pia usijali, Lemfi hawatumagi hizi letters za, yani unajua like messages za kipumbavu. Pia usisahau, every time una transact $50 and above una earn points. Na the more una transact, the more points you earn and you can redeem them as cash ile time unatuma pesa. Alafu pia kitu nanibamba kabisa ni saizi ukitumia Lemfi unabaki umelipa pay bills na till numbers directly. That means unabaki umehandle bills za maparo wako ukiwa hizo maside za States ama maside za Canada. Alafu pia wewe mwenyewe as a Lemfi user baki umetafuta ile button imeandikwa get USD $20, ubaki umeinvite mabeste zako, na ukiinvite mabeste zako on their first $100 transaction unapata pesa ngapi? $20 cashback. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, ingia Lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Ekonene. Kumbuka ule msa alikuwa ameongea mbaya juu ya chat hii wiki. And I remember I talked about him and I said the fact that I'll never forget him talking about Ruto running the country forever. And who am I talking about? Is that billionaire called Narendra. And so Narendra alikuwa na launch a certain one of his factories zake, a steel plant. Hizo masai za UG. And he decided to go back to your story yake ya Ruto running the country forever. And I think sometimes people take these things lightly. This is such an emotive issue that for you to think you can just bring it up and be like, you know what, Ruto needs to run Kenya for 20 years. So, nataka watch, alafu I need you to watch Ruto, how Ruto reacts when Narendra says that he needs to run the country for 20 years. Wacha tucheki.
Repeat, although constitution doesn't allow, but I will say you should be there for 20 years. Because we would like, I know last time when I said, likuwa napigwa sana, lakini if you want to remove the unemployment in the country, we need this force and put the things in order in the country.
So yeah, umechekio time amesema you should run the country for 20 years. We've seen Ruto laughing and doing this. And what I can say is this is not a laughing matter. If Ruto was to try and change the Kenyan constitution, it would lead to so much bloodshed. This is something that African leaders need to realize. And I think Ian Kama alisema, vizuri kabisa. Ian Kama alisema, no leader is a gift from God. No leader is special. Utakuja, utatoka. If you do your best, and in 10 years, Kenya has turned into a first world country, that does not mean that you need to continue. You step down and you let the other guy continue. if he steers us the right way, if we'll have seen the promised land, 100% sure we are not going back. So for me to see the president laughing, because this is what akina Cherargei keep doing. They keep planting easy seeds running the country forever. Alafu pia you have to judge someone by the company they keep. When this is being said, Ruto is next to who? Museveni. So how are we supposed to take this news? Najua. But what is that to skize speech ya Ruto? Alafu itaona like Ruto was still praising this Narendra guy. Even after Narendra said that. Itakuwa like, oh, he can't address that. It's a non-issue. No, you have to address it. You have to be like, you know what? I'm here to serve Kenya under the Kenyan constitution. And that means that if I lose in 2027, I'll step down. If I win, I'll run till the country till 2032. And even if Kenya becomes Singapore, I'll still step down for the next drive of Singapore to turn us back into a shithole. Why? The minute tumefika Singapore, kuna mtu ataiturudisha into shithole. It's simple. Why? For us to reach that Singapore level, institutions have to work. And whoever strengthens the institutions will guarantee us development. Najua, will guarantee us like a certain level of like zero impunity, basically. And with zero impunity and zero corruption in Kenya, we'll be set. But say, wacha saa tusikize Ruto akibonga jua. Hapa ni place ako nabonga jua access to see. Gale time kibonga jua nini? The friends that you keep. Wacha tuanze na hiyo part.
I know people in the journalist space, and it is good I speak about it here, tried to create an impression that Uganda had said something to the effect that they need to access the sea by all means. Let me assure the naysayers that Uganda and Kenya are brothers and sisters, and we do not have time for negative engagement. Uganda is assured of the access to the sea through Kenya, and that is why we are not only extending the pipeline, we are also extending the road, and we are also extending the railway.
So, okay, also extending the railway. The naysayers, why? Because when Uganda talked about, of course, fighting for the sea, it's the way the old Mzee said. He said that countries will go to war. Atinka kusema like if you live in the upper apartment, you don't have access to the playground. That's what he was saying. But Kenya is a foreign country. That is a sovereign. No, let me use the name sovereign. It's a sovereign country. Kuna borders na Uganda. So the minute you come to Kenya, haijalishi that nyanyako alikuambia sea ni free. That doesn't happen that way. Even kwa hizi places wana own, hizo ni seafront property. You can't go and claim that, since umeon seafront na mimi naishi pale, wacha nikuje kwako nikakojoe jusini ya kila mtu. Should things be like the way they are? Of course, it come to countries, yes. But it come to people actually owning sea property meshikana na sea, that should not be there. Property meshikana na beaches, that should not be there. Because the beach needs to be public. Najua. Like your access, yote ya ocean nafaa kuwa. So hizi properties nafaa kuwa close, but hazifai kuwa zime take over. But wacha tuendelee na hii speech.
Because we believe that this region needs to move as one. For those who want to engage us in negative talk, we want to tell them, please give us a break.
Okay, so kuna historia ya Ruto ya kusema please give us a break. But now, talking of negative talk, yes, I want to be positive, but there are things that I can't be positive about. The number one thing that I can't be positive about, of course, is when someone says that you should run the country forever, and I see you looking at it and treating it as a laughing matter. I can't be positive about that, najua, because it's not a laughing matter. This is something that Kenyans had to Nini for, just for us to have it. And then what else? When I hear you praising Narendra, the same guy who's saying that you should run the country forever, and you are praising him in ways that...
I take this opportunity to express Kenya's pride in celebrating the vision and enterprise of Dr. Narendra Raval, a distinguished Kenyan industrialist and investor whose commitment, focus, and determination have been instrumental in bringing this industry to life.
So of course wacha niweke disclaimer, hii speech ya kisifu Narendra, I've just seen like this part of it, like 2 minutes long, so I've not seen the whole part, so I don't know if at any point he corrected him and told him that the constitution is supreme. I don't know if kalimwambia the constitution is supreme. So history at run the country for 20 years, hiyo ni Narendra na nyanya yake, na niko sure saizi nyanya Narendra ha exist, so hiyo tu ni Narendra. So I hope alim correct, but wacha tuendelee. So try and imagine this happens after this guy has told you to violate the constitution.
You remember, Mr. President, that when I introduced Dr. Guru to you, I told you that he is a man who keeps his word.
So he plays here is a man who keeps his word. Ruto ended up mentioning things that this guy has invested in, and I'm there wondering, like, how much is this Narendra guy worth? Like, what's his net worth? Because the amount of figures that I was hearing were ridiculous. Like, he has to be, what's it called, like a dollar billionaire? Is he a dollar billionaire? Because hii pesa ingine nasemekana ameinvest hapa Kenya, I don't know. So but nataka tusikize Ruto, tusikie the amount of money that has been invested here in Kenya.
I have worked with him in Kenya. He has made huge investments in our country. 2 years ago, I opened a factory in West Pokot where he had invested $400 million. I broke ground a year ago in Taita Taveta, the facility where he had invested $150 million.
So let's take your 400 plus 150, that's $550 million. $550 million, if you're to convert that to shillings, would be around 70 billion Kenyan shillings. Cheki, that's some ridiculous amount of money.
In January, we will be launching the largest clinker facility in Kitui County in Kenya, which will also have an investment of $370 million.
Tunacheki. So all this, if I was to add the 550 and I add 370, I get $920 million. $920 million. If I do that by 130, saizi, dollar moja ikiwa 130, that will come to around 117 billion Kenyan shillings. So how much is this Narendra Devki guy worth? Because nikienda kwa nini, okay, so some local Kenyan sources put his net worth at 100 billion. Okay. Alafu, according to various sources, his net worth is around $400 million. Alafu some, then his business Devki group has annual revenues of over 650 million. So I guess maybe near Devki group. So it's not him as an individual who's ninning that. So okay, that's interesting. But yes, but another strange thing that happened during history of Uganda was Ruto also promising something else that I don't know if he's allowed to promise. Because now Ruto anasema saa hizi that Kenya pipeline is going to be owned by both Uganda and Kenya. And I'd want to know, is he allowed to do that? Because these are the sort of things that can now create conflict baadaye, where Uganda can claim, yeah, you know, this president claimed hivi, lakini nyinyi sasa mnataka kubreach, so now in quotes let's go to war or something. I don't know, but I found that to be strange. It's the Kenya Pipeline Company. History that we are privatizing it 1 minute, then the next minute we want to like inaitwa, so ilikuwa ni Kenya and Uganda to jointly co-own the Kenya Pipeline Company. I have a problem with that, and these are the things that Ruto was busy announcing akiwa UG. So I don't know kama kuna watu watampeleka kotini juu ya hii, and I don't know if hata akipelekwa kotini can the court actually stop him, because I don't think your PPP, your public, private, whatever. I don't even think if you privatize something, you can stop a country in quotes from buying it. I don't know all that. So kawe ni lawyer nzapaki umeniambia like what's going to happen with that. But yes, that's what has happened. So quick recap, ikuwa inasemekana Gachagua alikuwa attacked na knife. I think tumedebunk. I think hiyo ni bullshit. Then the next story tukabaki tumedebunk ni hiyo story ya Raila kwenda hell. I don't know who that prophet is, but it's another fake one, trying to make some quick money and trying to stir up emotions. So hiyo pia tumedebunk haraka. Alafu last but not least, history ya Ruto. 20 years, this guy billionaire claims you deserve 20 years and you just laugh it off. And yeah, sorry to say, but it's not a laughing matter. Iko nene.